The sun was going down, and it was almost quitting time at the Morrison construction site. Neville and Gordon had taken an extended lunch break to hang out in the forest and share a few beers. As they finished their refreshment, they would crush the cans against their skulls and pitch the waste on the ground. "Hey Neville, hold my beer and watch this." Gordon spotted a bird's nest with chicks in it. He had a hatchet, and he was tossing it up to see if he could knock it down. "Careful, you dolt! You're going to brain yourself with your own axe." Neville sat down both beers and walked off a way to relieve himself. But he stopped in midstream as the forest went eerily quiet and he could no longer hear Gordon. "Gordon, what's up? Did you axe yourself, you fool?" He laughed out loud as he tried to finish. Just then, it started to rain. It was particularly cold rain with a biting wind. Neville got chills as he could swear he heard a voice in the wind calling his name. But it was nearly a whisper that he could seem to sense rather than hear. The voice said, "Gordon, is that you? You're freaking me out, man. I can't go if you're freaking me out." Neville turned to see if there was someone behind him. The rain seemed to slow and then stop. He squeezed his eyes closed as if they would help clear the hallucinations in his eyes and ears. "Gordon, I think I drank too much." Opening his eyes and noticing a raindrop hanging in midair, and time stood still. He stuck his tongue out to touch it and giggled in disbelief. "What the heck?" A voice called with more urgency. "No!" The frightened and confused man turned back to the tree that he had been watering. Was that face there before, he wondered? He recognized that face, yet that was impossible. But it resembled the foreman that had gone missing in the woods over the week before. The tree began to shrink and dehydrate. The face stretched and contorted as it seemed to speak. "Neville, run!" Lightning struck the tree as it cracked loudly, but the sound it made as the branches ripped off from its trunk sounded more like the sound of human bones breaking. What was left of the gruesome face screamed in pain, but Neville wasn't sure if his foreman's voice he heard screaming or his own. He turned to run and seemed to run straight into another tree, but this time it was something much worse. Neville was suddenly being surrounded by wisps of smoke that were palpable as slimy fingers. The smoke squeezed into him as vines raised up from the ground and began squeezing. The form in front of Neville had orange glowing eyes that seemed to burn into his soul. It laughed maniacally as the smoky fingers and vines continued to paralyze him. Just then, Gordon emerged from the dark, and he was calling for Neville, though the sound of the wind, screaming and demonic laughing seemed to drown out his voice. Gordon stopped moving as he tried to make sense of what he was seeing. Neville was in the grasp of something horrific, and the body was turning into a tree. An 8-foot shrouded figure took a bony stake-like appendage and used it to gouge Gordon's friend in the chest. Then Skarnag retracted his finger from the dead trunk. There seemed to be a blue stringy substance dripping from the tip. It dripped to the forest and then took to the forest floor, and then took shape of what remained of Neville's emotionless soul standing next to Skarnag. The demon took a good look at Gordon as if seeking approval for his macabre masterpiece. Skarnag smiled at him, and the soul of Neville smiled too, but only in a crazy copycat kind of way.